You ready to take a stress test?
You are Locked On Trojans, your daily podcast on the USC Trojans, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Fight on, everyone. I am your host, Mark Culkin, and thank you for making Locked On USC part of the Locked On Network, your first listen every day. Whether you're watching the show on YouTube, wherever you're downloading your podcast, this show is free, and never forget how much I appreciate your support. Today's episode is brought to you by Monopoly Go. Admit it, I've got a competitive side, and it's a big fan of Monopoly Go, the mobile hit twist on classic Monopoly. So join your friends and download Monopoly Go, now free on the App Store or Google Play. All right, here's how we do it. Breathe in, breathe out. What do we got to say? Woosah, whatever it takes. Whatever you need to do to keep yourself from getting stressed out, do it. You're an adult. You have some adult choices you can make. But here it is. Transfer portal, it's closed. And so far, USC is what they got to show for it. A couple wide receivers, defensive back, kicker. Yeah, they filled some needs, but that's not going to be enough. Let's just be honest, right? The last time I checked the transfer portal database, there were 3,094 transfer portal entrants. A big number. Out of that number, 1,473 have committed to their new school that they're either already enrolled or they're planning to enroll. That's 48%, not quite half. There was another 99 who played the hokey pokey. They put their name in, they withdrew it. So essentially, half the guys who jumped into the transfer portal are still there. That's a big number. The laws of supply and demand, they cross all boundaries. Doesn't matter what it is. Gasoline, certain food items in the supermarket, whatever. Defensive tackles. That's where we're at. The supply holders, when they know the demand is high and the supply is short, they get to set the price. And now the coaches, USC, like I said, transfer portal's closed. They've identified their targets. And basically, they now have to go into negotiations. They've already started it, but now you're kind of going back and forth, playing the game. So if you want to know how this game is being played, just to kind of give you an idea. So one school is one of the visitors, defensive tackle, and they wrote on the whiteboard, the best dudes in college football. These two dudes also they just happen to represent Demonic Williams. One of them is Jimmy Sexton, super agent, NFL talent. Okay. If you're not sure, you've heard the name, you're not sure who he is. He is the co-head of football and head of coaching as a sports agent for CAA, Creative Arts Agency. It's like one of the biggest sports agencies out there. And they're up there with the Lee Steinbergs of the world. Yeah, those guys. So when you hear folks from USC say, hey, we're developing relationships. This is part of the process. This is who they're developing the relationship with. Because really, there's no more relationship building, I'm using finger quotes, with the player without any type of financial relationship figured out up front. That's what it's all about now. It's show me the money. And once you do that, I'll be able to show you the defensive tackles that USC needs. If USC doesn't show the money, they're not getting them. That's how it's working. This is the stress test that Coach Lincoln Riley and House of Victory, they're going to have to pass. The fans, you guys, you're just going to have to breathe in, breathe out. Unless you're planning to write a check personally to one of those guys, you're just going to have to kind of sit there and say, hey, cross your fingers, hope we get them. Lincoln Riley, House of Victory. Look, I'm not telling them anything they don't know. I'm kind of playing Captain Obvious here, but they need to understand that if you want a high demand, short supply product, you're going to have to pay over sticker price. That's the bottom line. That's the reality of life. Buying a car, short supply, high demand, you're paying over sticker price. That's how it works. Today, the college football player, the players who play certain positions, like defensive tackle, quarterback, wide receiver, they know they have the upper hand in things. They can force the USCs, the LSUs, the Oklahomas of the world to bid against each other. And this is why USC might have to overpay for the defensive tackle from Michigan State, Derek Harmon, just so Coach Prime and Warren Sapp don't end up getting him for a year. What do they care? I don't even think Deion Sanders is going to be hanging around Colorado much longer. So what does he care if he spends a couple million on one player? Once his kid leaves, once Shedeur leaves Colorado, I highly doubt Coach Prime is hanging around in Boulder. I mean, this is literally the epitome of free agency. Only it's worse because college players, they aren't under any type of contractual obligation. If their feelings get hurt or playing time is lost because someone else earned it, they'll just jump into the transfer portal again. There's no penalty. A lot of these guys, again, they'll get a signing bonus and they'll just wait until the next opportunity to go get another signing bonus. So again, none of the big names, as far as, we were kind of anticipating, nobody jumped into the transfer portal at the last minute. It looks like Michigan's going to hang on to their two big guys, Mason Graham, Kenneth Grant. Those are guys who you say, all right, I'm willing to pay. They've shown me what they can do in college. Look, the ones who USC should have been a slam dunk for, we've talked about these names a couple of times. Jermaine Lole from Los Angeles, looks like he's going to Oklahoma. Demotic Williams from Los Angeles, started at TCU. Right now, it appears it's between Oklahoma and LSU. Maybe USC gets back into it because, like I said, they know who's available and they know they have to pay. So who's going to be, less expensive between him and, say, Derek Harmon? You'd like to get both. USC can't afford it. I mean, if they can, they just don't want to pay it. Like I said, they're kind of mortgaging towards the future. They know they got a 2025 class they got to pay for. Well, you got to pay for something right now. Here's an idea. Like I said, I've been F5ing that transfer portal all day long, updating it, refreshing it, see who's getting in. I saw a name, kind of caught my eye. His name's Brian Ramsey Brooks. He's 6'4.5". He's an interior offensive lineman, but he weighs 405 pounds. Look, like I said, I know Maximus Gibbs. He can't ever come back to USC, right? But why not ask this young man to switch sides of the ball? 6'4.5", 405 pounds, roughly. Guys, ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching the show, you're listening to the show, that's nose tackle stuff right there, right? I don't need to ask him to drop a bunch of weight to play on the offensive line. Just drop some. And then, I'm going to say, hey, this is what I want you to do. I want you to get in there, and I want you to fall down, and I want you to clog up the lanes. I want you to take away the option of running between the tackles. All right. Just a reminder, again, this is how the transfer portal works. USC has time to sign guys. They're not under the gun. They've got plenty of time to sign the guys that they want, that they need. But, right now they're kind of limited to the 1,400 or so guys who are still in the transfer portal. And it's not even that many because really they're focusing in on interior help on the defensive line And again, they'd like to get some more depth at the offensive tackle positions. They know who's out there. They know who's available. I guess we're going to find out together who they're going to get. What if they don't? Let's talk about that in the next segment. It's playoff time in the NBA, NHL. Baseball's in full swing, and FanDuel is your place to bet on every game. Well, if you're a Laker fan, the playoffs are over. Right now, though, new customers, you're going to get $150 in bonus bets guaranteed. It's $150, win or lose. You can bet on everything from slap shots to home runs to slam dunks, all on an app that's safe, easy, and secure to use. What are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and make your first bet an automatic win. FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. Are you watching Fox Sports or ESPN on your TV all day? You have to turn down the volume with all that shouting? Make the switch to Locked On Sports Today, a free 24/7 sports streaming channel programmed for you every day to bring you the biggest stories without all the screaming. Locked On Sports Today brings you can't-miss analysis, opinions, and news, streaming 24/7 on YouTube or the free Amazon Fire TV channels app, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Okay, worst case scenario. USC ends up with a couple of bodies out of the transfer portal who can be developed and be a part of the rotation. I'm talking specifically about the interior defensive line. You can see on the rundown here on the show. Let's respect what you already have. Bottom line, the coaching staff and the House of Victory piggy bank didn't come through. At least it doesn't appear like it's going to come through. But, okay, big but. However, let's not get locked on stupid. Let's not go full panic mode yet. As I mentioned in the first segment, there's time, right? They know who's available. Now they got to decide how badly they want those guys. So again, we're not going to get stuck on stupid. We're not going to go full panic mode. Not yet. There'll be plenty of time for that. This is a kind of a hypothetical what if. Okay. Boy Scout motto, always be prepared, right? That's what we're doing right now. I never made it to Boy Scouts. I barely got through Webelos. Yeah, we be loyal. Ironic, right? There's no more loyalty in college football. Anyways, moving on. I don't want to get sidetracked. Instead, instead of focusing on what USC didn't get or doesn't have, let's look at what USC is playing with this year, who they do have. It's time to make some lemonade, right? I'm going to give you the 2024 defensive line room. This is how USC lists them. Defensive line, Elijah Hughes, Solomon Tuliaupupu, Kalen Miller, Keithian Bear Alexander, Kobe Pepe, Jude Abasiri, Devin Tompkins, Nate Clifton. That's your defensive line room. That's what's on the roster. Took part in spring camp. Arriving soon, in time for PRPs this summer, 6'3", 270 pounds, Carlon Jones. 6'4", 250 pounds, Ratumana Bulabalabu. All right, so everyone, use both your hands. That's 10 dudes listed at defensive line. You notice I didn't mention any of the rush edge guys, Cameron Fountain, Jamil Muhammad, Braylon Shelby. Didn't talk about those. Didn't mention those names. I talked about the 10 guys who are listed that are going to play inside, play on the strong side. But now let's peel back the layers a little bit, right? What we do here, we analyze. Who are the actual interior guys that USC can use? Right now, I would say that's Bear Alexander, that's Elijah Hughes, that's Kobe Pepe, that's Nate Clifton, and then the baby of the bunch showing up, Carlon Jones. Are you good with those, 5 guys for your run game to stop the run? How confident are you? What about Solo? Can he be that bull rush guy inside? Can you slide him in? I think on certain packages, probably. Here's my starting lineup up front. Again, we're working with what we have. I'm going to go Jamil Muhammad, Russian starter, Bear, Nate Clifton, and then either Solo or Elijah Hughes, defensive end. Okay. Behind those guys, Braylon Shelby, Anthony Lucas, Kobe Pepe, Jade Abasiri. And then behind them, you got Cameron Fountain, Carlin Jones, Devin Tompkins, Bulabalova. I'm not saying this is going to be your, how it's going to play out, but as of right now, if those are the pieces you get to work with, that's how I would roll it out. So it's a snapshot of what the rotations could look like, or a combination, of those guys kind of mixing and matching. Anthony Lucas, he could play inside, probably line him up outside as well. So besides Bear, obviously it's spotlight's right on it. Boom. USC needs a couple of true inside presence guys. This is why I've been spending so much time talking about it on Locked On USC. That's why you've been tuning into Locked On USC every day to get an update. Where are we at? Well, until they sign those guys, this is where we're at. So again, I said worst case scenario. Maybe it's not the best way to parse it, but look, this is who you have on your roster. This is who you get to work with. We know they're going to bring in a couple more guys. Are they going to be guys that are going to be able to contribute right away? Or are they going to be, guys who, all right, we're going to throw them in there. We're going to throw them into our developmental project box. And you know what you have coming in, or at least committed for 2025 so far? That's a whole nother story. You got to keep them committed. Like I said, USC has to find a way to pay the guys that they anticipate coming in 2025, as well as pay the guys who are in the transfer portal that they know they need to bring in to get this defense up to par. Well, better than what they had last year. They're going to the big conference. They need to get bigger up front, especially inside. Right now, USC is going to have to score some points. And I wonder, what? Does that, based on the players you have available on defense, does that make Lincoln Riley change his offensive game plan? Does he slow the game down a little bit so the defense doesn't have to get rushed out there if USC is scoring too fast? A lot of moving parts right now. We'll see how it plays out. Everything's interconnected. Again, we know who USC would like to have. It's a matter of how much are they going to pay. Again, I don't believe for a minute that they weren't. Demonic Williams wasn't something they were interested in. If the price is right, they're interested in. I just don't think they didn't anticipate him being able to command the price it looks like he's getting, or at least they're negotiating. I haven't given you a number, but again, I used the words yesterday: crazy money, and it wasn't just about Derek Harmon, and it's not just about Demonic Williams. Crazy money is being used with defensive tackles. This is the world we live in now. It is what it is. Welcome to college football free agency. You like it? I'm a competitive person. I keep telling you that. You keep figuring it out. You keep hearing it in my voice. I hate to lose. Okay, well, because of that competitive side, I become a big fan of Monopoly Go. You might have heard of it. It's been downloaded over 150 million times. It's a great twist on Monopoly where you play not on one, but hundreds of Monopoly boards in crazy locations all around the world. You build up amazing cities, and they can bring you big time money. And if you like messing around, having fun with your friends, you own the properties. They're renting it from you. Walk on in. Walk into their vaults. Take their money. Mess with them. But it's not just my competitive side that loves it. You can team up with friends and people all around the world, and you can get in these timed tournaments and you can earn huge rewards. So get in the game, join your friends, download Monopoly Go, now free on the App Store or Google Play. All right. Question: who sucked more in 2023? I don't really mean sucked. What I mean is between USC football and USC men's hoops, which team sucked more? I'm kidding. Who underachieved the most? Easy answer for me. Easy answer for me. The men's hoops team. They clanked it hard. Yeah. They broke the backboard. They were shooting so many bricks. Terrible. If we're going to do the comparison, we all hope that the football team's defense would play adequately competent in 2023. It never happened. Never came to fruition. We were just all hoping that they would just kind of improve as the season went along, allowed the offense to score 40 a game. All we wanted the defense to do, keep teams under 30. If you do that, USC will win the majority of their games. It didn't happen. We went in, our fingers were crossed, hoping that Grinch could find a clue, figure out how to coach the defense, and where the players understood the defense. Never happened. Pardon me. So even we were all watching the games together. Even when USC was 6-0, you kind of got the sense that, okay, the defense isn't good, but they should be okay, save for those 2 road games that were coming up: Notre Dame, Oregon. What happened? Well, everything kind of snowballed. The O-line, Caleb Williams, that collapsed in South Bend. Offensive line had a really tough time keeping Notre Dame's defense off of Caleb, and Caleb had 4 turnovers in that game. By far, his worst game of his USC career. And really, from that point forward, the season kind of just went off the rails. USC ended up losing 5 of their final 6 regular season games. And just to get that one win, they had to throw up a 50 spot at Cal to hold on. Cal didn't have what anybody would call a great offense in 2023. They put up 49 points on USC. Are you kidding me? That's how bad USC's defense was. So again, hopes were high. But look, they without that win against Cal, they finished the season 500, 6-6. Everyone went into the season thinking, all right, 2 to 3 losses. It wasn't out of the realm of reality. Very distinct possibility. I don't think anybody had USC losing 5 out of their last 6 games. That wasn't on anyone's bingo card. It wasn't on mine. I know you guys like to hold over my head. I said they were going to go undefeated. I'm a homer. One day I'm a homer. The other day, I'm Mr. Negativity. Pick a side, guys. Pick a lane. Figure it out. Now, yes, you can make the argument. USC football, they underachieved. But were they the biggest underachiever? No. Men's hoops. Completely flopped. You have the number 1 high school recruit in the country, Isaiah Collier. It's going to be a lottery pick. You had Boogie Ellis returning. Those 2 were supposed to form the best backcourt in the country. When you get to tournament time, it's all about backcourt play. USC finally, they had their true point guard. They had Boogie, guy who could light it up, fill up the basket from anywhere, especially from deep. Loves to get to the free throw line. You had multi-position and all-purpose defender Kobe Johnson returning. Yeah, he's now a Bruin. You had DJ Rodman, who transferred in from Washington State. Washington State ended up being one of the best teams in the conference. DJ Rodman came to USC because he wanted a chance to win before he graduated. How'd that work out? Bronny James and the LeBron circus. You had shot blocker extraordinaire Joshua Morgan, Vince Uwachukwu, Arrington Page. I mean, there was really a nice blend of youth and experience. This team was literally built to make a deep run in the tournament. Instead, they finished below 500. This is why they underachieved more than the football team. And the basketball team barely made it out of last place in the Pac-12. Think about that. Team, they were picked to contend for the conference championship. They were playing in the first round of the Pac-12 tournament. Yeah, day one. That's how bad they were this year. We couldn't even get a first round bye. The result of the men's hoop season, it ended the Andy Enfield era. I mean, everyone is gone except for Harrison Hornery. Pretty sure he's still on the roster. I was asked on the Inside the Trojan Huddle show that I do weekly over there on WeAreSC.com, what was the biggest LA sports disappointment in 2023? The answer, I would have said the Lakers, but I was able to find that connection where I could, where I could say, you know what? LeBron helped ruin USC hoops. So he didn't just ruin the Lakers. He also helped ruin USC basketball. Yeah, some of you have probably figured out, not a big LeBron James fan. And since his son is no longer a part of the program, I could talk a little bit more freely now. I hope Bronny goes on to have a very successful career. Maybe he can get out from under his father's shadow. And maybe the Lakers can get rid of LeBron so I can start watching the Lakers again. I'm not upset they were kicked out of the playoffs 4-1. Yeah, the sooner you get rid of LeBron, the sooner you can start rebuilding the Lakers. Everything he touches turns to crap in the end. Look at USC basketball. I don't have to go any further than that. Now, yes, I'm being a little hyperbolic, but I need someone to blame. So why not, right? Anyways, that's it for this episode of Locked on USC. Hey, do me a favor. You like what you heard? You like what you watched? You're watching on YouTube? Become a subscriber. Click that red subscribe button. Smash that thumbs up. It really helps the show grow. And I don't want you to miss any updates, so click that bell notification button. And when you're done making Locked on USC, your first listen every day, and you're not a subscriber over there at WeAreSC.com, you got $1, go check it out. There's a lot of good VIP content. And we're going into recruiting season. There's going to be a lot more. So I'll fill you in here, all your news and notes in 30 minutes or less. And then when you're done making Locked on USC your first listen every day, get on over there, WeAreSC.com. We'll appreciate you there over there as well. So until then, everyone, you know what to do.